Good afternoon, everyone. It's Tim Knight at the Slope of Hope, and I wanted to, I wouldn't say celebrate, but mention the obvious crossing of Dow 10,000 here. We've got, I think this is Art Cashin, maybe from years ago, when the Dow first crossed this level. It was a big deal. To put things in perspective, this is the level we were at 10 years ago. So, 1999, 2009, we've come full circle. But I wanted to walk through my longs and shorts right now. Yes, I do have longs, actually, quite a few of them. Some of them I'm pretty fond of, actually, to illustrate the kind of balancing act I'm doing right now in terms of my own positions. And as usual, when I do these things, I'm just going to sort of blast through them and comment briefly on some and not at all on others. But I'm going to try to group these into shorts and longs. Why don't we start off with the longs? And I think you'll see a lot of similarities among these. And as with profit charts, you can see the symbol here is in the upper left corner along with the company description. And since we're dealing with longs here, I'll occasionally show the volume as well. But there's about, I don't know, 25 of them or so. So we'll just kind of buzz through these. And I'll stop on the ones I find particularly interesting. You'll see this pattern a lot with these. Basically, your inverted head and shoulders going on. Some more well formed than others. I also am looking for items where there's a fair amount of kind of open air above that retracement. I mean, excuse me, not retracement, but above that pattern. Here we have MGI. It's just kind of slowly chugging its way higher. OPXT. There's not the kind of volume bursts that I would like to see on these, but they are pretty well formed basing patterns, and they've all broken out. This is PMI. We have here yet again another inverted head and shoulders in the process of a small retracement there, and as I said before, lots of open air. This is one I mentioned specifically today at a 20% update today. Travel Centers of America. I have no idea what this company does, and it doesn't really matter, but it's doing well. I've been sort of obsessed about this ever since it was back in this area around about under $3. And this is a really classic breakout. And unlike a lot of longs today, it's got really nice push on the volume here. So this could be a nice long-term hold. And this one, this is sort of the long that isn't a long. This is ZSL, which is the ultra short on silver. Relatively thinly traded instrument, but I'm cautiously bearish on silver right now, and this is a pretty good vehicle for doing that. Let's continue on with more longs here, because this is sort of an unusual thing to talk about in this particular blog. This is a different account. We've got Arch Coal here, ACI. So again, a nice break on an ascending triangle there. AMB, CCO. Here's Comcast. This is probably the sloppiest long that I've got. That's probably the ugliest chart. CPX. This has actually become a favorite of mine. Crocs of all things. This used to be something that back when I was doing this bit, we used to kind of joke about. But this stock has a really nice cup with handle and has been progressing higher. And this, as with TA, has had a nice little bump in volume lately. So this is a chart I'm actually quite fond of, and another possible long-term hold. This is a so-called long, which, as with ZSL, is not a long. This is a double short on the Indu. I actually got this shortly before the close today. Not a very big position. Certainly no good pattern here, but this is sort of a gee, I wonder if 10K was enough day sort of thing. So not really a long. Foster Wheeler, pretty good pattern there. Honeywell, Liberty Global, Triple Elegant. You might see some redundancy here because these are across multiple accounts. There's Manitowoc, I guess you'd call it. Here's OEH, Orient Express Hotels. Strangely, real estate has been one of the stronger groups, kind of not what you would expect in this economy, but it has been. This one hasn't broken out yet, and I'm getting this a little on the early side, but in anticipation of breakout here, this would be a really nice push higher. So strictly speaking, not a completed pattern here, but the other kind of good thing about this is that this has been a strong stock even during the bear market. It just kept climbing. So we got Pet Med Express here, looks really sharp. VMW doing very nicely. WNR. And I think as far as the straight up longs, that is about it. And since we've only got 10 minutes here, I better step up the pace here and talk about shorts a little bit. So those are the longs. Shorts are a little more consistent in appearance than the longs are. These are basically patterns which have some kind of usually inverted dish or dome pattern during the big bear market that it did in March. Big drop and then a retracement. So you're going to see a lot of shorting off the retrace type of patterns. This is a really superb example right here, AES. If the day ever arrives that the downtrend does resume, this is exactly the kind of stock that I would like to own a couple of hundred of. I want to own a mountain of charts that look like that. A little bit of a different one here. This is retracing to the trend line. Still a very attractive instrument. Here's Ann Taylor, BWA. You can see these are all kind of similar. This is, again, a different portfolio. I have 88 kind of shorts waiting in the wings that I've been a little too sensible to launch into, given the action lately. But I've got a whole bunch of stocks I would love to short. But thank goodness I've been really holding off on that, because this is just not the kind of environment that that you want to do that kind of thing in. Gold, precious metals in general, kind of got short on today. It was a little interesting to me that in the face of 150 points up on the Dow and basically everything in the world going up, that GDX actually went down, and GLD also went down. That's pretty scary for the short term on precious metals, that even a day like this could not lift them, especially in light of that huge dollar surge we had after the minutes were released. Microsoft is probably the biggest one I've got, and this is a really very clean short here, and maybe a nice bellwether. And I've mentioned over and over and over XLU. The thing I like about this is that it's just so slow. It's just a nice, safe, clean thing. Unlike something like a FAS or something like that, you're not going to wake up and find this has moved 10%. Even if I do get stopped out of this, the loss will be quite modest. So the risk is tiny. I mean, the risk is basically this little bit of air right here until I would stop out, and the potential reward is very big. I mean, I could picture this going into the very low 20s if things roll the right direction. And wrapping up with just a few more shorts here. AINV. This is a really good looking chart. Ashland. You can see these here are some of the ones that have had gigantic gains over the course of the past 7-8 months. And I'm looking for them to flip around. GLD, as I mentioned earlier. Here's MDR, NVIDIA, PGF. This one looks a little different than the others, but that one's been good to me in the past, so I like that one. Here's SA, Texas Instruments. And on a day when Intel was setting the world on fire, the fact that a fellow major semiconductor company was unchanged, that speaks well, I think, to this short. WLP. And finally, Yum, the makers of fine tacos and burritos everywhere. So anyway, as you can see, in spite of this blog's reputation, it ain't all shorts. Got a bunch of longs and a bunch of shorts, and I will continue to push in whichever the direction the market keeps pushing. I mean, if this counter trend rally keeps going relentlessly, I'm just going to keep tilting and tilting and tilting. It's kind of 60-40 right now, but I may wake up one morning and find myself having a bullish portfolio. And of course, if things finally tilt to the short side, then I'll push in the other direction, because as I said, I've got no lack of good ideas on the other way. Anyway, that's it. Bye.